Studying for your Connecticut CDL? These 50 questions are gold. Hit like, hit subscribe, and let's do this.
Question 1. A combination vehicle with a trailer that is lightly loaded is less likely to jackknife. True or false? False. Light trailers are more likely to jackknife because their wheels lock up more easily when braking. Question 2. If your bus stalls on railroad tracks, you should immediately evacuate and run down the tracks toward the approaching train. True or false? False. Passengers should evacuate at a 45-degree angle away from the tracks in the direction of the train's approach to avoid being hit by debris. Question 3. You should always shift gears while crossing railroad tracks to maintain momentum. True or false? False. Drivers should never shift gears while crossing tracks to avoid stalling on the rails. Question 4. The safety valve on an air brake system opens at 100 psi to protect the system from excessive pressure. True or false? False. The safety valve is designed to release pressure only when it exceeds 150 psi to prevent system damage. Question 5. Before loading or unloading a tank vehicle, the driver must verify that the liquid levels won't cause overflow when in motion. True or false? True. Surge and liquid expansion can lead to spillage or tank overpressure if improperly filled. Question 6. You may always use a cell phone while driving a CMV as long as it is hands-free. True or false? False. Federal regulations prohibit reaching for or dialing a phone, even if it's hands-free, unless it can be operated with a single button and without moving from the seated driving position. Question 7. A broken exhaust system can let poison fumes into the cab or sleeper berth. True or false? True. Leaking or damaged exhaust components can allow carbon monoxide to enter the driver's compartment, posing serious health risks. Question 8. In Connecticut, it's legal to refuel a school bus while passengers remain on board. True or false? False. It is illegal to refuel a school bus with passengers on board due to fire and inhalation hazards. Question 9. The emergency brake system uses part of the service brake system to activate. True or false? True. Spring brakes automatically engage if air pressure drops too low, relying on the same mechanisms. Question 10. The air compressor governor controls when the compressor should cool the air. True or false? False. The governor controls when the compressor pumps air into the storage tanks, not air temperature regulation. Question 11. You may use the hazard lights on a disabled commercial vehicle while it is being towed. True or false? False. Hazard lights must not be used on a moving vehicle unless it is an emergency stop or required by law. When a vehicle is being towed, it must follow towing specific lighting rules. Question 12. If the air pressure drops below 80 psi in a dual air brake system, the spring brakes will activate automatically. True or false? False. Spring brakes typically activate between 20 to 45 psi, not 80 psi. 80 psi triggers warnings, but not brake engagement. Question 13. Connecticut requires that a driver use hand signals if turn signals fail. True or false? True. State law mandates that drivers must be able to indicate their intentions even if mechanical signals fail. Question 14. A vehicle transporting chlorine must always be placarded, regardless of the amount. True or false? True. Chlorine is classified as a hazardous material that requires placarding at any quantity due to its inhalation hazard. Question 15. If a hazardous materials placard is damaged, you may continue to operate the vehicle as long as one placard remains visible. True or false? False. All required placards must be legible and visible on all four sides. Damaged or missing placards violate federal regulations. Question 16. In the event of a tire fire, water or a fire extinguisher should be used immediately. True or false? True. Tire fires burn hot and fast. Delaying response increases the chance of total vehicle loss. Question 17. It is acceptable to use recap tires on the front wheels of a bus. True or false? False. Federal law prohibits the use of recapped or retreaded tires on the front wheels of buses for safety reasons. Question 18. Fuel tanks must be secured and must not be leaking. True or false? True. A loose or leaking fuel tank is both a fire hazard and a violation of vehicle inspection requirements. Question 19. When inspecting air brakes, the slack adjuster should not move more than about 1 inch where the push rod attaches. True or false? True. Excessive slack means delayed brake response and is a serious safety concern. Question 20. When driving a tank vehicle, baffles prevent all movement of liquid inside the tank. True or false? False. Baffles slow the forward and backward movement of liquid, but they do not stop surge completely. Drivers must still adjust braking and turning accordingly. Question 21. Stab braking is the proper technique for use with vehicles equipped with ABS brakes. True or false? False. ABS systems require firm, steady pressure. Stab braking can interfere with ABS function and reduce control. Question 22. All trailers must be equipped with spring brakes. True or false? False. Older trailers may not have spring brakes. In such cases, emergency braking relies on other mechanical systems. Question 23. Hydraulic brake vehicles require a buildup of air pressure before moving. True or false? False. Hydraulic brake systems do not rely on air pressure. Only air brake-equipped vehicles require air pressure buildup before movement. Question 24. AP endorsement is needed in Connecticut for vehicles carrying 8 or more passengers. True or false? False. The endorsement is needed for vehicles carrying 16 or more people, including the driver. Question 25. It is illegal to use a radar detector in a CMV in Connecticut. True or false? True. CMV drivers are prohibited from possessing or using radar detectors under both state and federal law. Question 26. You do not need to stop at a railroad crossing if you are transporting flammable liquids in a placarded cargo tank, but the tank is empty. True or false? False. Even when empty, placarded cargo tanks must stop at all railroad crossings unless exempted by signage or local law. Question 27. In Connecticut, a CDL driver must carry the medical examiner's certificate only if their certification status is non-accepted interstate or non-accepted intrastate. True or false? True. These certification categories require proof of medical qualification at all times under both state and federal law. Question 28. When inspecting the fifth wheel, the locking jaws should be fully closed around the shank of the kingpin. True or false? True. This ensures that the trailer is securely connected to the tractor and prevents accidental separation during travel. Question 29. In a school bus, the left and right side mirrors must allow the driver to see the entire area from the front bumper to where direct vision is possible. True or false? True. These mirrors are required for safe navigation around children loading and unloading from the bus. Question 30. Placards must be visible from all four sides of a vehicle transporting hazardous materials. True or false? True. FMCSA and Connecticut adopt this rule to ensure emergency responders can identify hazardous materials in all scenarios. Question 31. In Connecticut, a CDL vehicle with anti-lock brakes must have a malfunction lamp that turns on at startup and turns off quickly. True or false? True. This is required to ensure the ABS system is functioning properly and self-checking on ignition. Question 32. Emergency roof hatches in school buses may be used as exit points during emergencies. True or false? True. Connecticut regulations require school buses to have roof hatches for emergency evacuation when needed. Question 33. You must be able to see 200 feet behind the bus using rearview mirrors. True or false? True. This is a federal requirement enforced by Connecticut for school bus safety. Question 34. In Connecticut, triple trailers are not permitted on all highways. True or false? True. State law restricts longer combination vehicles from certain routes due to road design and safety limitations. Question 35. The shut-off valves on the rear of the last trailer must always remain closed during operation. True or false? False. Shut-off valves must be open unless pulling multiple trailers where the last trailer does not need air supply. Question 36. An automatic slack adjuster does not need to be checked during a pre-trip inspection. True or false? False. Automatic slack adjusters must still be inspected regularly. They can fail or become out of adjustment, leading to dangerous brake lag. Question 37. You must check that the spring mounts are not cracked or broken during the suspension system inspection. True or false? True. Spring mounts secure the axle to the frame and must be intact for safe handling. Question 38. In Connecticut, it is illegal to leave a running school bus unattended with the key in the ignition. True or false? True. Doing so is a violation of both safety protocol and state law, especially in the context of student transportation. Question 39. AP endorsement is needed in Connecticut for vehicles carrying 8 or more passengers. True or false? False. The endorsement is needed for vehicles carrying 16 or more people, including the driver. Question 40. Brake linings should not be thinner than 1/4 inch on steering axle brakes. True or false? True. This is a minimum safety requirement. Thinner linings can overheat and fail under pressure. Question 41. You should check the belt-driven air compressor for tightness and proper mounting during a pre-trip inspection. True or false? True. A loose or misaligned compressor belt can result in low air pressure and brake system failure. Question 42. Some hazardous materials require special permits from the Connecticut DMV before transport. True or false? True. These materials are considered high risk and require additional scrutiny and paperwork. Question 43. A placard must be displayed only on the rear of a vehicle carrying hazardous materials. True or false? False. Placards are required on all 4 sides of the vehicle to ensure proper visibility in all directions. Question 44. Connecticut allows the use of wide-based single tires as long as they meet federal tread requirements. True or false? True. These tires are legal substitutes for duals if they conform to safety standards. Question 45. A properly adjusted mirror on a school bus should only show the side of the bus and blind spots. True or false? False. The mirror system must show the entire area around the bus, including the danger zones where children may be walking or crossing. Question 46. The coupling system must include a safety latch or lock to ensure the fifth wheel cannot be accidentally released. True or false? True. Without this latch, vibrations or road movement could potentially cause an uncoupling event. Question 47. During a static leakage test, air loss should not exceed 5 psi in 1 minute for combination vehicles. True or false? False. The allowable air loss is less than 4 psi in 1 minute for combination vehicles during a static air leakage test. Question 48. The fifth wheel locking mechanism should be checked for proper engagement during the pre-trip inspection. True or false? True. A properly engaged fifth wheel lock ensures that the trailer is securely coupled and prevents accidental disconnection during transit. Question 49. A cargo inspection is only necessary before starting a trip. True or false? False. Federal law requires drivers to inspect cargo and securement devices within the first 50 miles and periodically thereafter. Question 50. Trailer emergency brakes are held on by mechanical force when air pressure leaves the system. True or false? True. This is a fail-safe design to prevent runaways in the event of system failure.
Thanks for tuning in. Still studying? Click here for more practice videos or grab the cheat sheet that breaks everything down step by step.